All right, y'all, we back at it today with another review. I apologize for the delay in videos. I know it's been a while since I uploaded anything, but I've just been out taking care of business and priorities and things like that. But I do have a good one for us today. So if this is your first time stopping through, please make sure you hit the subscribe button, like the videos, comment. The engagement, helps pushes the channel out to a larger audience, and the channel can continue to grow and get better. I know I feel like I say that on every video, but we have a lot of people over here watching the content, but the views and are up there, but the likes and the comments don't kind of match up with the my last video. My sound was a little bit off because I was using the microphone that I purchased. But today I'm going to do something a little bit different. I'm just going to, use the phone, no microphone, and kind of, gauge the sound or get it kind of where I want it to be. If it's, poor quality, sound, just let me know and I'll do something to try to make it better. But if if it's okay, then I'll continue on with no mic, and I'll look for a better mic. So, if you read the title already, you know that we're going to be reviewing Air Jordan 4 Undefeateds. The shoe did release back in August. It had a release at the beginning of August, I think August 3rd, and then it released at the end of August, I think August 28th. I wasn't able to purchase those releases at the beginning of August and the end of August, so I kind of had to go back and pay resale to get the shoe. It wasn't that bad, I feel like the shoe was priced, where it should be for a collab. I didn't pay too much. It was still over retail, but yeah, it wasn't anything crazy. This shoe did last release in 2005. When it did release, it was a limited release. I think it was limited to like 72 pairs. They were auctioned off and sold for like thousands of dollars. So this is one of the shoes that we never thought were retro again, but with this theme going on this year, with it being the 40th anniversary of Jordan brand, they're kind of pulling out all the stops, releasing any and everything that that was highly sought after, back in the days. This being one of the shoes. It does come in this all over silver box, kind of like what the Jordan 13s and the Jordan 14s come in. And on the lid, it has the 20th anniversary and the Undefeated logo up there. And then it says 05 and then 25, marking the 20-year anniversary of the actual shoe. And then you have their label right there on that side. Label on the box reads Air Jordan 4 Retro OG SP. Colorway is deep green clementine black, and this is a size 11. Going inside, you do get a stamp right over here in this corner. I did take one of the shoes out to kind of take a look at the pair to see how it looked. Get that Undefeated paper right there with the logo on it. You get your postcard, your Undefeated postcard. The shoes do come individually wrapped in like that sandwich style paper, kind of like that. But for video purpose, I already took one out yesterday to kind of unravel it and get kind of right into the review. And here they are, the Air Jordan 4 Undefeated. I'm sure by now you guys have seen a ton of reviews, and unboxings on these shoes. So I won't drag this video out. I'll just kind of run through the shoe and give my thoughts and opinions on the shoe. So it does come dressed in that deep olive green all over the upper up here. Down here you have like a sail or age midsole, that air unit right down there at the bottom. It's an orange air unit, kind of like a black glossy midsole down here at the bottom, and that goes all around the front of it, and as well as the other side as well. Then coming over here to this side, you get that sail age kind of midsole. Look at it in there. You get your orange air unit. The wings, it's kind of like a glossy finish up here, and then your waffles up here are black, and then you have your black laces, and it does come with a spare pair of orange laces that we'll kind of get into a little bit later. To the back of the shoe, you get the Nike Air branding back here on the back. When we first were rumored to get the shoe, we thought that we were going to get two pairs, a pair with the Jumpman on the back and a pair with the Nike Air branding on the back. But turns out the Jumpman pair was friends and family only, and kind of like on the limited side. So the only pair that released to the public was the Nike Air branding pair. Taking it to the inside, you do get a orange insole, that Undefeated logo down there at the back, and then your side sticker right there. Behind the tongue, you get the wording, Undefeated. Production dates on this shoe read 11/13/24 to 03/12/25. And then up here around the tongue, you get like that satin material on the tongue. It's a different material than what's on the upper of the shoe. So it kind of feels like one of those bomber jackets that, were kind of like famous back in the 90s. But, that's what's, up around the tongue. And of course, you get that Velcro, rip away patch. And then behind the patch, you get the Rare Air, and then your Jordan logo up there as well. So basically like the Rare Airs. Yeah, so with all that out of the way, we can kind of get into some of like the minor details of the shoe. It did come with some, added accessories, as I mentioned before. You have your postcard right there. Your spare pair of, orange laces. And I also want to say that it came with a Undefeated, hang tag that may be on the other shoe. Yes, so it did come with that Undefeated hang tag right there. I may keep that on, I may cut that off. I mean, it's kind of, one of the flimsy ones, so not like more secure. I do prefer that, if they give us a hang tag, that they give us the chain hang tag, not the little, easy plastic flimsy one that can kind of pop off. Yeah, if they were to give us a hang tag, I want the chain one, because when you wear that, that's gonna pop right off. Yeah, this was one of the shoes that I was really excited about, coming into this year. I did numerous videos on these earlier, talking about it. It was one of the major releases to come out in August. It just so happens that I was unable to, get a pair in August, and that's fine too, I double back and, I grabbed my pair because, this is one I wanted in the collection. And, you don't always have to, get shoes right when they come out. The funds aren't right or the money's not there. You can come back later on down the line and, grab the shoe. You may have to pay a little more, a little less, I don't know, depends. But just so long as you get what you desire. So, but yeah, I'm very happy to have this in the collection. I will kind of throw up some reels on these. I don't really include like on feats in my videos anymore. I say that more so for my reels, because if you know, I like doing reels because I can kind of add music to them, and you know, it creates more for, you know, more for of a better environment, you know, when showing off the shoe. One more thing, you know, I wanted to try out. These, they also have the, you know, rip away tongue. These have the rip away tongue. And as you know, next year we're supposed to be getting the tour yellows that are supposed to be coming out. Those also have the rip away tongue. I think all these underneath, they say the same thing, the Jordan Rare Air. So I wanted to kind of propose a question like, is there any other colorway that you would like to see where, you know, you have that rip away tongue on, or is there something else that they can come out with? And is this a trend? Is this like something, you know, to kind of, you know, add hype on the Jordan 4s, you know, but which they don't need any hype, you know, because they kind of sell themselves at this point. But yeah, I mean, they seem to be on something, you know, when it comes to these, you know, rip away tongues. Before we get up out of here, I do want to do a giveaway on this shoe. A lot of people may already have their pairs in hand, but you know, if you wanted to kind of participate, you know, you can get a second pair for free. I wanted to do a giveaway, so when we reach 100 subscribers, I will give away a pair of the Air Jordan 4 Undefeated in your size. You might have to reach out to me, or I'll reach out to that person and I'll inbox them and, you know, let them know, hey, you won, and they just give me their size and I'll ship them out, you know, for free. I'll cover, you know, everything, all the expenses, but you know, we have to do our part over here and, you know, subscribe and, you know, engage with the videos, because, you know, the viewership is, you know, not matching, you know, the subscribers and the likes. You know, it's a whole bunch of, you know, views, but you know, the subscribers aren't there. So if you want a chance to, you know, enter the giveaway, please subscribe to the channel, you know, comment, you know, like, tell a friend, you know, all that good stuff. And like I always tell you guys, hard work is easy work when you're doing what you love to do. Y'all stay blessed, and I'll catch y'all next time.